got 25 minutes. We got to go. Hey, what is going on?
We're back.
Man, I missed you guys.
Too long.
It absolutely has. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. What is going on, Jeannie? Excited to be back with you guys. Happy hump day, everybody.
Happy hump day. It is another Wednesday. Wherever you are in the world, we're happy that you decided to join us. So thank you so much. If this is the first time that you're with us, welcome. Welcome to Say That channel, where we are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up. So what is the ugly come up, you might be wondering? Well, you know how people, you've heard these stories where people start off having like nothing, and then all of a sudden they have massive success. And you're like, what happened in the middle? What happens during the ugly come up? Well, that's what we're here to talk about, folks. That whole part of your business building right there. And we're excited to be back with all of you. What's up, Michael Finkley?
What's going on? I hope you guys checked out that episode with Janelle and Finkley.
that was pretty epic as well. So we're welcome. If you love what you see, please comment. We love the comments as we progress. We love new subscribers, so please subscribe, ring that notification bell, like us, all of the things, because the more you do that, the more our content will come to your feed. And so that is really helpful for getting the value that we provide out to the masses.
Absolutely. And guys, if you are new to the show, the way it goes is there's a question or usually a topic of the day. When it's Justin, Janelle, and I, we chop it up and go through that. We're excited for this season. We're actually going to be doing that in a new format, so that's going to be exciting. And then on days where we have the blessing of having somebody as a guest come on and share and give us insight into, their experience in this question, we are blessed to have that. And today happens to be one of those days. So we are definitely first excited about jumping into today's question. Let's get that drum roll, Jay. All right, guys. Today's question is, bing.
Is there money in the print business? I don't know, because for me, I feel like everything's digital right now. Like, who's printing? I know I don't do the business card thing anymore, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. So we're going to talk about that. I think this is a great question.
And who do we have with us today, Jay?
So to help us answer that question, we have our first guest of this season. We're super excited to have her on. She is the CEO of her own company, One Stop for Printing. She is an entrepreneur. She is a speaker where she helps other people who are business owners, other entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurial pursuits. This is the best person to answer this question. And one of the things that I love the most about Maya is how real she is. She's one of the realest people you will ever encounter. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage, Maya G.
Our next guest.
If you're thinking about actually doing something productive with your brand, you want to be careful on how cheap you go.
Hey!
I hope y'all catching nuggets already. That's not knowledge from the intro alone, for real.
For sure.
Welcome, Maya. We're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, before we get into the question, if you don't mind, tell us, or people are welcoming you to the show. And so we would love to hear a little bit about how you got started in your entrepreneurial journey. What made you decide to get into printing and decide to make that a business?
Oh, wow. Great question. Printing was really by accident. My first business initially, when I first started, I started as a photographer. Now, to backtrack on that, I was the family photographer when I was a kid, taking all the pictures, all the family vacations. And, when I started working after college, I started working for the government initially. And when I got there, they had just put in the security at the airport. This was like a little bit past 9/11, right? Okay. And, they were still kind of putting the positions together, and creative Maya's like, hey, you know, I think I could do this, I can do that. So I started doing photography for Homeland Security. Then I decided to open up a studio. And with the studio, we were doing makeup and hairstyles and all that stuff. So I did that for a while. But, you know, I had a printer that I would go to, and I would tell him, hey, this is how I want things, print it this way, print it that way. And he always had limits. You know, no, I can't do that. My machine won't allow me to do this. And one time I went there and I was so frustrated because I was trying to get uniform for my shop, and he couldn't do it. So I was just like, you know what? I went home that night. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out on my own. And the next year, I just started doing small little projects for different clients that were already coming to the shop anyway. And then I think within a year, I decided to just do a complete U-turn from what I was doing. And I gave up photography. Well, I didn't really give it up, but the focus is not on photography. I don't pick up my camera anymore and went full throttle into printing. And you know, we'll get into what kind of printing and that kind of thing, but that's how I got started.
That's super interesting. Like just
Cool.
just that, like the idea that it came out of necessity that you needed, right? Like you were like, you know what? I need this. I need this for myself. So this is what we're gonna do. And then you obviously found other people who wanted
that
exactly
business,
what you were able to produce, right? So that's really awesome. So let's get into the question then. Is there money in the printing business?
That's a really good question. And you know, if I had to answer that in one breath, I would say, of course, there's a lot of money in printing. However, printing is not for everyone. You know, I see a lot of people, you know, getting into printing. They're buying little Cricuts and buying stuff from Michael's and trying to figure it out. You know, that's cool, but it's not sustainable. Like you can't make a living with that. You know, if you want to make money with printing, you just have to figure out where you want to be, because those commercial printers cost a lot of money. You know, and the little inkjet from Office Depot is not gonna make it.
Okay.
So, okay, printing isn't for everyone, and we know Michael's and the inkjet printer isn't going to do it. So, what are people printing then? Where is the money at in printing? Because it's not it's not in business cards. So, where is it?
No. Well, believe it or not, 44% of printing is in commercial printing. So it is in business card, it is in brochures, it is in pamphlet, but it's more from like the bigger companies. The mom and pops are not really printing like that, the brochures, the business cards, but you know, the bigger, like your Deltas, your Southwest, they're printing brochures, they're printing booklets, they're printing magazines, and they hold 44% of that business, right? As it stands, I think the last study they did, printing is somewhere around $24-25 billion industry, right? It's still in the billions, okay?
Wow.
A lot of people that are designing their own products need a professional printer to print it and to drop ship it to someone, right? People just got into drop shipping less than 5-6 years ago. So that's another, you know, segment that's growing, and that's where I'm at. You know, I'm more like providing services for people that want to create. So if you're like, well, I want to start my merch line, you know, what do I do? That's where I come in, because you know, it's a niche market, and most of the people that want to get into that market don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and I've been for more than 9 years, going on my 10th year. I can consult and advise and create with them. So if I had to answer that, there's no money if you don't know what you're doing in printing. In printing, you have to make money. You have to be a master of the craft. It's not one of those testing type of thing. You will lose a lot of money trying to play around with it.
I love that you went there. Something that came to mind is earlier on you mentioned the shop. I know you said you were working essentially like a government job, right? How did you transition from that to owning I'm assuming the shop is like a retail space you had?
No, I don't do retail.
Okay, okay.
I only work with business clients and wholesale. But yeah, I started as a retail though. I started as a retail.
So when did you transition out of that? So everything for you now is digital?
90% of my business is digital. I deal with a lot of digital equipment. So we process digital files and that sort of thing. I don't, I do know screen printers, but me personally, somebody that's trying to get into screen printing now, I would discourage them very, very highly.
These are all new jargons to me, so I don't even know what screen
printing. Okay, so screen printing is a process of printing where back in the old days, up to probably recent years, where the ink would go through screens. So if you had a garment that needed 8 colors, you would have 8 screens that you actually
and pull it across. I remember seeing this.
So I know that some people are very impressed or
old school like
the process of screen printing, but there's no money in screen printing if you're trying to get into it today. Because by the time you screen printed 20 shirts, I've already finished 50.
So it's about volume.
Yeah,
it is about volume with screen printing for sure. So
and turnaround time. What you just said is significant.
Absolutely. So for 8 color jobs, you got to set up eight screens. You got to pull out 8 buckets of paint. Like it's a lot, and there's a lot of printers, that's been their business for the past 50 years, generational business. And a lot of them are not doing that switch. It's almost like Blockbuster turning into Netflix. They're not doing that switch. They'll tell you, I'm not doing digital. It's not the same quality. And I'm like, yeah, but your audience, the 24 to 35-year-olds that are coming in for this type of stuff, they don't care about what you're talking about. They care about how fast can they get it and how cheap it's going to be.
Yeah. Where does quality factor in on your side? Or is it the client's responsibility to provide the product that's being printed on?
No, quality is very big. I seldom accept garments from other sources. Like very, very rarely, because I have so much, garments and substrate that I can offer them that it's almost impossible for me not to have what they're looking for. And we also have, cut and sew options. So if they wanted to actually design their own products, we could also do that for them. So I try to stay away from getting there. I've done it in the beginning. In the beginning, I would let them bring their own things. Clothing has melted on me, fall apart because they bought it on some website, for $2, and then they want me to turn it into a $50 garment. And, a lot of things have happened. So I do my best to try to educate the clients on the quality of cottons, different type of cottons, where they come from, what certain, jargon mean, that kind of thing, so that when they're selling their garments, they have it listed, they know the proper way to do it.
Okay. I actually have a follow-up question about that. I want to get into maybe how you can build a secondary business because of that aspect. Just as somebody who's gotten printed stuff and the quality of the shirts aren't good, and I thought the print was fine, but I did want to get to the question that Jeannie sent in. So what was the process like getting into the printing business, and do you need certain certifications? Great question.
Well, for printing, no, not really. I mean, if you're going to be opening up a storefront, or you're going to be like legit business, you would want to have your some experience behind you. Of course, you need your general licensing that your LLC and tax.
Yeah, for business.
All that general purpose stuff. No certification for printing. Printing is one of those fields that you can learn as you go, or you can take get with a mentor and learn from them, or you can take courses, but there's no risk. It's not like becoming an esthetician where you have to go get certified. It's not that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and you definitely have to be creative. I call it a sports for the creative. You cannot just work machines because if you just work machines, you're not going to be able to work with your clients because your clients are coming to you because you have that
A
factor.
vision. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll pay you a couple of dollars more because you have that it factor.
Yeah. It's
And
literally like
that's
live
a
marketing.
lot of people. I'm sorry?
It's like live marketing. Companies pay, hundreds of thousands for marketing campaign. And depending on what aspect of it you play when you're in that printing business, because then some people could be just given the design, they just literally put out what that person's asking for. And then other levels of it, you could actually sit there and say, let me design something for you. Let me create a vision for what you're trying to get across. And I think I was going to start asking, I know, Janelle, you had a question, but I want to start getting into how you price things. Is it based on the quality of the products you put out?
Oh, wait.
But
Before we even get into that though, like, okay, I'm a new business person and those questions do matter. But if I'm new to business, right? Like we're here talking to entrepreneurs who are in the middle of the ugly come up. They're trying to figure it out. And they're thinking, whatever, I do everything on Instagram, Facebook, like everything is digital. Why on earth would I need anything printed? And I love that you also consult with your clients. So if you were talking to somebody like that, like brand new, trying to get their business off the ground, how would you counsel them about why printing for their business is important? And then of course, then we'll get into like how you price and all that stuff.
Well, if we can think ahead, right? We're stepping into the AI ages, right? Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence and all of that. And people are jumping off a building, suicide, killing themselves because they're lacking the human connection, right? Now, depending on the type of business that you have, you may not need tangible products or marketing tools, right? But just keep in mind, you not being tangible, you're going to be competing with everybody else, right? Because you're not having the human connection. You're not going out. You're not meeting people. You're not exchanging, right? So you're just going online and hoping that Google SEO or whatever SEO will put you in front of the right person. And then after that, put you in front of the right person enough to where they actually call you. Do you have enough funding to keep being in front of the right person? At clicks being $2 a click, that kind of thing, where you could just get away from that because everybody else is doing it and go out there and actually do the right, marketing and networking.
Guerrilla marketing. Yeah.
Right. Because if the big boys, the $1 billion companies are still printing, you just coming out the gate, you don't want to do it. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you're doing anything really, if you have a boutique and you're selling clothing, maybe you don't really need any printable things in terms of like marketing brochures and that sort of thing. But if you're gonna be going out there meeting women, meeting men, whatever, to promote your boutique, you got to give them something. If you have a salon, yeah, you could run ads on Instagram, but hair is a very delicate thing. People are not just gonna let you touch their hair because they saw you on Facebook. So you have to promote that. So I think that if I was consulting and talking to someone who's just getting started, who's rebranding, I would kind of try to figure out what marketing tool works for them. Not everybody really need a business card. But if you're going to print a business card, then you need to make it unique. Like my card is very unique. I don't know if you got one, Janelle. When I met you, if I give you a card, because I know you QR code me real fast, and that was that. But I always get, oh my God, your card is so, so thick, it's so this, it's so that. So I know you're not going to throw it out because it's something of value. But if I printed some cheap cards from Vista or something like that, you may not hold that too much. Just like another card that might hit the trash or something, So to answer your question, I would try to study the business and try to figure out different ways, different directions that we can go. But I wouldn't cancel it out altogether, because you could wear shirts with your brand on it. That's a form of marketing as well, So there's different things.
I was going to say, to me, the natural evolution of many businesses is merch. I mean, if you're trying to bring in multiple streams of income, so you want wallet share, providing content's one thing, but if you can't, unless we're putting up ads in the middle of like the live streams telling you to go somewhere to go buy something, the other opportunity that many companies or products have is to say, hey, buy my merch, which is in some sense free advertisement for that company or for business, right? And I know we have another question in the chat, so I'm gonna get to that one. So how do you market your business, Maya? Is it more social media, word of mouth, or both?
Oh, both. Now I do a lot of social media because most of the clients that I'm working with that are looking to do merch or get their merch started, that sort of thing, you know, their age range is, you know, Instagram, TikTok, you know, so somewhere around 25, like maybe 40. So I do a lot of marketing online because one of my websites is strictly online. Like you don't have to interact with me to do business with me. You know,
Okay.
that particular website, I'm proud of it because I make it in my sleep. But, you know, I graduated to that, right? Because I had to understand what I'm going to be offering, how I'm going to be able to sell it, who's going to be my target audience. And then I started, you know, pushing towards that. So One Stop for Printing, I started back in 2014. So this May, celebrating its 9th year. And then the new business that I just started that's focusing on the DIY community is going on a year. It's going to be a year in May. So.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And I know that you're also
you.
on, I want to bring this up because I know people can connect with you on Instagram.
Yes.
All right. So we have
There's
One
Instagram.
Stop for Printing. What's all that? IG.
Yeah, we recently added some new products on there. We have some black neon inks on here, you know, for the clubbing community, that kind of stuff. If they want to get some neon inks, so we print those.
That's cool.
And then I know this one was the other one. The for your website. Was it the
Yeah,
One Stop? Yeah. Let me see if I can bring that up as well. Okay.
So on the website, they can get all kinds of stuff: business cards, banners, floor wraps, stickers. All of that is on the website.
Okay. P.S. I just want to shout out Maya because she did the banner for my book tour. It's beautiful. Like everyone's like, it's so good. My father, who actually was still is, he does more of the design work. So he's a commercial artist by trade and also a fine artist. But so he was involved with printing. Like he'd always take his design to the printer, right? And so he was very impressed by by the banner. So I love the banner. Maya did a great job of working with me to develop like what it would look like. So that whole consultation bit is a real thing. I am like living proof that like she like works with you to get you what you want.
And that's the key word. You know, I work with you because, you know, you're the master of what you're doing, but you may not know how to get what you want done in print. And, you know, I try to come in and try to help you with that.
Very nice.
That is so awesome. So, okay, so to get to Winston's question, right? So now you're sitting with this new entrepreneur who's like gung-ho, they're excited, they're like, all right, I get what you're saying, Maya, you're right. People are definitely out here trying to do things alone and yet also committing suicide. Like, not to laugh at it, but just like they get like connection is key. It's important. I hear exactly what you're saying.
It's the real deal.
So now I'm working with you and now I'm thinking, okay, like what should I get? Merch sounds great. T-shirts sound great. Maybe some hats, like some baseball caps or what do they call them? Trucker hats or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe a bag, maybe, I don't know, whatever the kind of merch it is. How do you decide quality? How do you decide pricing? What goes into all of that? Oh,
can I give a real life, like, let's say for Janelle and I, and like I said, I think it's the natural progression. Janelle and I have had conversations about this. So let's say the brand is what we consider what we do. We talk to our audience. Our value is in that conversation. There you go. We had some shirts that Janelle can show you again.
Oh no,
we had some shirts made up.
My dad designed it.
Yeah, that's our
and
logo.
Then we would need to bring
put
it
on
to
a shirt. But if we wanted to get merch that people could actually buy, how would a conversation like that go with you if we're sitting down as we come to you?
Well, to answer that question, when it comes to merch, to promote your business is one thing, but merch to kind of like start a brand, that's a whole different like type of conversation. So to promote your podcast is different from if you're doing like fashion.
Okay.
So
in terms of
if
the amount
you're
of
doing-
money we're looking to make.
If you're looking to make money, then you have to make merch that people are going to be looking to buy.
Okay, so no, go ahead, Maya. Go ahead.
To get to it, you know, that's the blunt part. This is the blunt part right here. If you're doing merch, let's say we're doing merch for the podcast, right? And you're intending for people to buy it, right? We're not at a certain level, so we have to create it in a way where people are like in awe when they see it. So first, we would do some test runs, you know, different concept that you guys are gonna wear.
Okay.
Right, you're gonna wear it. We're gonna put it on your YouTube channel, right?
Okay.
And give them the opportunity to actually purchase it from the website or from the YouTube link, right? So now if they're buying it and I can drop ship it or whoever can drop ship it for you, then you'll be able to gauge to see when you go on your next tour, on your next event, what merch to actually
the value of it is.
Oh,
that's really
right?
good.
Because we're not drink champs, we're not club or whatever. So we have to, wheel them in. We have to wheel them in to see what they like, and then go from there.
I love that.
All right, so the timer just went off, so we got to continue this conversation in overtime because, I feel like it just got spicy.
Absolutely, fire in the chat, guys. Let's give Maya, let's show us some love. That stuff, I mean, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. This is absolutely super valuable. Guys, Maya is a real person. Please reach out to her on Instagram. You already know that. We talked about the website where it's automated, but if you reach out to her on Instagram, she's a real person. She will respond, start up a conversation, see how you guys can help each other, work together.
Absolutely, get something made up.
I mean, really, as a new business person, even I feel like the consultation you give is beyond just here, let me print this for you. You get a lot more from Maya than just that. This is awesome.
For sure.
All right, so that's our time with you guys today. We're super happy to be back and have Maya with us. This is amazing.
Absolutely.
We're gonna wrap it up by saying,
as always, remember
you deserve
the good life.
Say that.
We'll see you guys in overtime.